This video is a video about myself, the man behind the camera, the editor, the driver, the prominent YouTuber. I did a video similar to this a couple of years ago. I'm just talking about myself, how I feel, how the future might look, how I'm struggling with a few things, and how I've got around some struggles. I wanted to make this video for a while, and I didn't quite get everything down that I wanted to, so I might do a further update to this in the future. But the bottom line is, we've done a lot of great things, but the feeling inside is still quite empty.
Now then, chaps, welcome to another video. This video is all about me, as per usual, I guess. But no, this is a video that I've wanted to make for a little while. I was going to actually make it a couple of months ago, but I had a bit of bad news in my life and didn't feel like the time was right. But 3 years ago, I had a bit of a wobbler with my health, with my mental health. And coming out the back of that, I reactivated my YouTube and stuff like that. Some of you might remember I made a video just talking about my mental health and how I was dealing with life and how I was getting on. And from then until now, a lot of stuff has changed in my life. It's very different now, but still also kind of the same. And I remember I got quite a lot of good feedback on the other video. A lot of people also saying, thanks Stan, I feel exactly what you've just said, and hearing someone say it online felt good. So this video, we're not racing. It's currently, the date is the 22nd of October. And I'm currently I've got to the unit now. I'm going to go inside shortly and just finish preparing my Civic for the last round of the Hot Hatch Championship. So I thought it'd be nice to do this update before the season ends, because I've noticed something towards the end of the season. My mood and my feelings about things can tend to change. But yeah, the bulk of this video is all about me and my health, right? I want to tell you about my health, and particularly I chose to do this today because I've just finished editing the video, which is the Snetterton big, I raced those 7 different races, all at Snetterton, that massive big video, big weekend. Editing that video, getting it together, I was getting quite stressed out with the whole process, and the video ended up being late to Patreon and then late even to the public YouTube. And I was just thinking today how much stress I was feeling under, how much pressure I was feeling under to get this video out. And I was thinking maybe this would be a good time to give an update on how everything's working up there and how I'm getting on with it. I'm still working 2 jobs. I say 2 jobs I've got my YouTube thing and I've got my main job. If I ever quit, if I ever do YouTube full time, I'll carry on. But technically I am doing YouTube full time. It's just that I've got this other job as well. I'm working 2 jobs at once, and it's stressful. It's pretty lonely as well. That's one thing I want to mention. I made a few notes as I've been thinking about making this video for a couple of months now. I've made a few notes of things that have changed, my perception on things, how I am. The good news is I'm a lot better now than what I was 3 years ago. And there's a few different things for that. I still have everyday struggles like everyone else does, but I am genuinely doing a lot better. Now, a lot of that is because I don't really have time to think about that stuff, which is a problem in itself, because my downtime, the amount of time that I have to myself to relax is not a lot. I try to make time for it, and I do think it's important that you make time for it, but I have this problem at the minute where, because I set up my YouTube as a business 2.5 years ago now, and because that's my own business, that's my passion. Whenever I have downtime, whenever there's time where I'm not doing anything, my brain's wired now to say, why aren't you doing that thing? There's always things to do. I've got so many things to do, and when I'm not doing things, if I try and relax, then well, what is relaxing anyway? What is relaxing? It's You know, some people read books or watch TV or play games or whatever. What is relaxing? It's just time away from what? What's it time away from? Some people, I know, I'm quite lucky that both my jobs I really quite enjoy. So I don't need to really get the escapism from anything. They're both kind of high pressure jobs in a sense. Obviously I do a lot of cool stuff on YouTube. I create a lot of cool content, I like to think. So anyway, I have a good time doing it. But, you know, the end product is this content which I need to try and get people to watch so that the numbers go up, so that, you know, I actually make some money from it and then I can continue to do more and more stuff. I'm going to make a separate video to this about the finances around YouTube, because I think you'd be surprised what comes in versus what goes out. The money I make versus the money I spend to create the content. There's quite a difference in those two numbers. Anyway, yeah, bottom line, health good, mental health good, yeah. Don't really have many bad times anymore, really. There's the occasional time where I'm feeling pretty shitty, especially now with, you know, it's getting darker at night, and by the time I'm going to upload this week actually, but you know what I'm saying, that the nights are getting closer and closer to you know, you're finishing work and then it's dark, you know, stuff like that. That's not very good for your upstairs, like, especially when you know you've got stuff to do in the evening. But yeah, overall doing pretty good. The feeling that I'm not so happy with, and like the main point of this video for me, is this end of season feeling. And I remember feeling the same after the first season. This is the end of my third race season, right? The first one we just did MR2s, the second one last year we did a few other things, and this year we've done probably even more things, but still quite similar to last year. Although we've done 2 full championships, you know, MR2 and the hot hatch in the Civic. And coming to the end of the year, so I've just won the class. I've got the championship win in the MR2. That's just happened a couple of weeks ago, and I remember a lot of my mates and a lot of people on Instagram and whatever. I posted it on Instagram, of course I did. You know, a lot of people messaging me to congratulate me, and I just felt nothing from it. It was so weird. It was. I was obviously happy that I'd won it, but now that I'd won it, I just was like, it's like nothing changed. I was like, well, it's this age-old quest to get things, to achieve things, to purchase things, you know, retail therapy, whatever like that. Takeaways are a good one. You want a takeaway, you have an idea, ask for a takeaway, and 9 times out of 10 you have the takeaway and you're like, oh. That's what winning the championship was like. I've still got the Civic one to come this weekend. I'm in the lead in my class, and if I turn up and finish, you know, where I normally do in the 2 races, then I've won the championship. But I've barely even prepped the car. I fixed the brakes, and there was some stuff that I could have done with the gearbox, and there's a couple of things that I could have done to try and improve it, but I'm just, I don't know, it feels like, it's strange because I've made all this effort all year, and getting to the end now, I'm just like, maybe the effort could have been spent better elsewhere. Obviously my life is pretty car related, right? And one thing that I've not done this year is gone to the Nürburgring. Would I have had a better year? Would I have a better end of year feeling if I'd have not done so much racing and been out there and travelled a bit more? I don't know. I just have this feeling, and it was the same as last year, where I've come to the end of something, the race season, and I don't feel kind of satisfied with not so much the performance or how the video's gone or anything like that. It's more, I guess it's everything. I'm not feeling like, okay, so I know I've had a good year, and I know I've done a lot of good stuff that I've enjoyed, but there's something missing. And I know a lot of people struggle with this, and I don't know what the right term is or anything like that, but I've set out to do things, that I knew I really wanted to do. I've done them. I've invested, you know, heavily in myself so that I could do them. I've spent a lot of time, you know, dedicated my life pretty much this year to racing. And now I'm at the end of it, or end of the race season, and I'm trying to ask myself, was the juice worth the squeeze? And I don't think it was. I don't think it was. But what else would I have done? What would I be saying right now if I hadn't raced this year? If I took this year off racing, we got to the end of the year, you never know what would have happened. The thing with racing is it becomes a lifestyle, and you know, I get a lot of support obviously on the Patreon and everything like that, but I do still heavily sponsor myself. You know, I'm my top sponsor, and the amount of money, I know it shouldn't always come down to money, but the amount of money that I have put into this, if you think, you know, if I think about the other things that I could have had instead, yes, I wouldn't have created the memories, but if at the end of it, those memories aren't adding up to fulfillment, then was it really worth it? I'm 31 now, right? 31. When I started racing, I was 27, 28-ish. When I started YouTube, I think I was about 25, or maybe younger than that. I'm in my 30s, man. Nothing's adding up yet. I still feel like what I did 10 years ago. I'm still like, I feel like I've got the brain, perhaps not of an adult, more of like a. You'll laugh, but when I see the dog running about, you know what dogs are like? They're like, "What's this? What's that? I'm gonna go over here."
What I mean by that is that I don't really seem to value the things that I do. I just do them, and then they're done. Does that make sense?
So going back to the wider mental health question, I know a lot of you struggle with it. I think it's very common these days, super common to just be open and talking about it, which is what I'm doing now. A lot of you have talked to me in the past about how you got help various different ways, whether it be, you know, like medication or self-medication, or, you know, this or that. In my darker days, I used to, well, you know, I've been there, man. Like I've been some really dark places. Thankfully, not recently. Getting into racing, although it might not be giving me this end of season fulfillment, it has kind of masked any of those kind of really dark moments, because I've always got this one thing to focus on, and maybe that's where the negativity comes from the end of season, because now this mask is starting to fade away a bit, and kind of reality is kind of starting to appear. Now, I used to have something else in my life before motorsport that was a daily habit and would mask life, right? I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is, and that was my life for a long time, and it didn't help me. The core problem in my life of depression or whatever, you know, mental health, it didn't help me with that. It just masked the problem. Maybe motorsports has been the same. It's been a good distraction. It's been a healthy distraction, more healthy than the other thing I was doing. But does that actually solve the problem? What is the problem? I don't have any contentment or fulfillment from anything I do. I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy the feedback that I get from people. I enjoy seeing the comments, mostly positive comments. I enjoy all of that, but there's still an emptiness inside, and I'm not sure where I'm gonna fill that hole. I've been pipe dreaming a lot about doing like a video traveling thing. I'd have to give up the day job probably, but I've been pipe dreaming about, I think I spoke about it even on video last year. I was thinking about doing it this year, where I kind of, you know, just went off traveling, making car content around the world, and maybe doing that for a few years. And I've heard lots of people say they go traveling, open the mind's eye, whatever they say, and, you know, come out of it the other end. But I've also heard a lot of other people who struggle mentally, who do this kind of thing and have a bad time, because ultimately it's still you, the same person with this empty feeling, just that you're in Japan, or just that you're in New Zealand or America or Canada. You know, it's still you. But I feel like that's something I maybe need to try, at least try it, and see if, you know, it does help me fill the voids a little bit. So maybe next year, less racing and more traveling. Although, you know, I've never really been into traveling other than the Nürburgring or going to tracks, but maybe if I can make it about traveling to these kind of automotive places, maybe I will enjoy it more. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, that's just some thoughts from me. I don't want this to go on forever and ever. I've got some bits that I need to do. Yeah, I need to get some work done. I just thought I wanted to just remind everyone, the guy behind the camera. I'm still filming and obviously editing all these videos myself, and I still love driving. Driving is a passion, right? I enjoy making the videos as well, that's a passion. There's still a lot of stress involved with creating this content. And yeah, I hope some of the things I've said have resonated with some of you. If you are struggling, like, the best thing I can tell you to do, what helped me, other than gym, keeping busy. I know it's cliche, but it's fucking real, man. Like, do exercise. I know it's stupid. Everyone just says do exercise and eat healthy, but it's one of the simplest things you can do, and it makes a massive difference, right? It's not going to fix you. It's not going to fix you. It just helps you get through it, right? Another thing, right? Something I've realised, or something I realised a few years ago, and this is not 100% true by any means, but I would bet, I've got a theory, right? I've got a theory. This is maybe making me sound a bit stupid, but I think a lot of the reason why people my age, people like you, are having this kind of new age of depression, of feeling kind of lost, is how we grew up with the internet, with having all these answers at its fingertips for everything. I think us not having religion, because religion, I think, and I'm not religious by any means, but I have seen firsthand how religion helps people get through life, how it gives them kind of principles to live from, to help them get through. And it's mostly based around family and just doing the right thing and all that. And I'm not saying religion's perfect, but on that theme, studying a set of values can be beneficial to you. And the one that I got hooked on was Stoicism. Correct. I got well into that. I still read it a bit now and again, but not so much anymore. But when I was really trying to figure out what the hell life was and how to get through life, it was Stoicism. So these are Greeks and Romans, and they had it figured out, man. They had it figured out. They weren't perfect. They did a lot of dodgy stuff on the sides, yeah, these Greeks and Romans, but some of what they say really does apply today. And I think that's what a lot of people get from religion, is these kind of values on how to have that outlook. And for me, I was already thinking stuff like this anyway. I was already thinking, like, the whole it is what it is, right? I remember when I crashed my Integra, I was like, ugh, got the GoPro out and obviously started recording it, banter, innit? for example. But yeah, so I've always been a bit like that, but then kind of studying it more and reading more about it and stuff like that, that helped me. So I think stuff like that's good. And if you've been really sad, right, if you've been really sad, you'll know the last thing you want to do is talk, especially talk about how you feel.
Now I am just speaking about personal experience here. I remember being low, and the last thing I would do would talk to anyone about it. And I never did. And perhaps if I did, I would have been not as low, but all I'm saying here is, when I see it online and I see people suggest all you need to do is talk, it would have been the last thing that I would have done. And I know the whole mood of trying to get men to talk is because they don't talk. I know that. But I still think the reality is, my experience was, talking was nowhere near on the agenda. So the movement to get people to talk is obviously to break that wall down and try and get men to talk about how they feel, which here I am on video talking about how I feel, while suggesting that a couple of years ago I wouldn't have spoken about how I feel. I guess that means it's working.
I'm pretty sure everyone out there knows someone now, right? Especially if you've, you know, in your 30s, like I am, we all know people who've done it or and have been affected by it, and it's fucking horrible, man. But yeah, anyway, let's wrap this up. This has been the 2023 update. So in 2020, 3 years ago, I did an update coming out the back of being probably the lowest I've ever been, and now I'm pretty leveled. I've been leveled for a while. I did get excited a few weeks ago, like genuinely excited, when I was doing that rally driver experience, which you've not seen the video for yet, but it might be on my channel now if you want to go and check it out. But that rally driving experience did get something going in me, but after the honeymoon period died down a bit, and I'm still looking at doing my license and all that, but I feel like, although it'll be something different, you know, driving a little bit different, I don't think it's going to fill the void. There's this void, right? So I'm happy. Am I happy? It's okay to not be happy, right? There's a good one. Never mind, it's okay to talk, which I've seen all over the internet and all that, which it is okay to talk, but it's also okay to not be happy. I wouldn't say I've been happy for a while, and perhaps that's what I'm looking for. Happiness, contentment, fulfillment. There's nothing wrong with a man wanting those three things. That's what we should all be aiming for in life, surely. And however you achieve that, all different ways that you might achieve that, but if you can sit down on a Sunday afternoon and say, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm fulfilled, then that's got to be the goal, right? But yeah, I was pretty low a couple of years ago, got myself out of that, and I'm pretty level now. And this stoicism stuff, that kind of does, it's weird, that kind of puts you in, imagine the lanes are up in a bowling alley, and the left gutter is happiness, and the right gutter is sadness. So if the guards are up, your stoicism goes down. You can't go out into happiness. You can't really go out into sadness either, because you're just kind of leveled. And that's maybe not a bad place to be, but you can't go up. You know, because sometimes I do feel, but you know, I can never really get up there, you know. Is that a good analogy? I think that was a good analogy, right? Because the way I got out of feeling really sad was to realise that I can't control everything in the world. I can only control, you know, I can only control what I can control, right? Does that make sense? I can't change the weather, you know. I can't change what another competitor is going to do who I'm racing against. I can't change if my fuel tank falls off well, maybe I could have changed that if I'd have maintained the car properly, but it's about realising what is under control, what you can do in life, you know, what your actions can manifest and what they can't. And it's about being real. It's about being realistic with aspirations and goals, I think, as well. And let me just read you a quote, right? I'll go on the first quote on the thing and then we'll end the video here because I'm doing a bad thing. I'm probably not explaining this very well. So the first, of course I have an app on my phone for quotes, you know. Who doesn't? Ready? Waste no time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. It's me trying to be a good man. That's what you've seen for the past couple of years. Just trying to be a good man. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Remember, your thoughts, it's your thoughts. Anything that happens, right, the way you feel about it is up to you. And if you feel sad about it, if you feel happy about it, you know, that sounds fucking... I've tried online on Discord and stuff to talk about this stuff, and it's not for everyone. I know it's not, but I'm just letting you know what has genuinely helped me, right? These silly little sayings, and there's some... If you're genuinely interested, there's a few good books on Audible and stuff where people, you know, you can find it. You can find it, right? But just silly little stuff like that, it does help me. So anyway, that was my update. I hope some of you have enjoyed hearing me ramble. I'm racing this weekend at Silverstone on the Grand Prix track, so that should be good. There's a live stream and everything, so I'll make sure to post that. Although I don't know, this video could be in the future. If I do decide to do any of the problem that I've got, right? I'm absolutely terrible. This is a footnote, is it? This is a PPS NB. What is it? The Italian. The Italian. What's the fuck's that language? Latin. NB. The problem I have in life, and I've had this forever since I was at school, since I, you know, started work, all my life, is having the foresight to plan things in advance. For me to be able to say what I want to do, what I want to be next year or next month, it's so hard for me. My brain just goes into what if mode, you know, or there's too many choices, or there's too many variables that for me to say, right, so for example, someone's invited me to Japan next year, right, and I've always wanted to go to Japan, who hasn't? So why don't I just go online and book some flights and book a hotel? Well, I don't know what I'll be doing there, you know, I don't know what, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't know anything. How can I say now in October, I just don't understand how people do it. I don't know how you do it. People that plan things in advance, I can't do it. I don't know why, it's pathetic, but that's a real big problem of mine. Real big problem. Like, glad we got to the bottom of it. I've got a massive void and I can't make future plans. Thanks for watching.